and can't risk her trying to bite somebody. And it also seems like they're going to be able to go back and get
they're
Uncle Strike
playing
because they
hide and
mentioned that they
seek
found
again
a survivor.
from the
So
hide and
all in
seek
all,
map.
this first part has actually
Also,
been pretty well for the group, everything considered. Now, before we go on to part 2, I do want to point out
don't
there's
mind
an additional
okay?
video that the
I don't want
creator made
extra
where he
video.
shows what happened with Rusty and his mother, and also gives us a glimpse into how this all started.
Don't mind the video, okay? Just don't mind it. I promise you are safe. Seeing this, okay?
Government officials urging citizens to stay indoors
You
as a nationwide emergency has commenced. Please do not consume any red foods, as they contain a chemical that makes animals go feral.
Okay, why I can
And as we suspected, it seems like those red berries are probably the cause for the feral outbreak.
Okay.
Now, back in the animation, we see that Rusty is trying to hide from his mother. And while it looks like the dog is actually going to attack her child here, luckily the father is able to make it home in time to defend him. There's also an interesting moment where the wife tries to get the husband to join her, but he is able to resist her pull and forces her to retreat to the woods. But this does give us an idea of what was likely talking to Bandit in the first part of the series. It seems like once these dogs inhale or ingest those red berries, they get filled with a literal manifestation of rage, which is what I think the red dog inside Rusty's mother was. But thankfully, this has a happy ending with Rusty's father carrying his son to safety. But one thing that is worth noting is that the mother is still out there running free. Next, we move over to part 2 of the comic, and we see a soldier looking at a picture of some of the dogs that have gone missing, starting with Bandit, then Radley, but then we see Frisky, and you can tell that something is off with her just by looking at her eyes. But it seems like she was able to send out a message to the military asking for help. And now that the soldier, who happens to be Brandy, has arrived to rescue her, she transforms, and here's my concern. I wonder if she was already infected with the rage before she called the military, or if it got into her after. Because it will be much harder to deal with these creatures if they have enough intelligence to trick other dogs and lure them into traps like this. Now, thankfully, Brandy is able to fight her off before she can attack her, using some kind of zap gun. And I think what's even more important here is that Brandy learns that Frisky had eaten some of those red berries, which I think is safe to confirm now that those berries are what is causing this rage to invade some of these
that'd be a good hike
dogs. Although at this point, we still don't know what they were talking about in terms of that smoke that they were telling people to watch out for. Now, the next scene caught me off guard because we see Chili pointing the gun at her own sister, but she is unable to actually pull the trigger. And while I was confused at first, it seems like Brandy may be the one responsible for the rage. And now she may have a way to stop it. But I find it interesting that she says some scars will remain, which is actually a very realistic way to think about it, especially when you consider that even if they stop this virus, at this point so much damage has already been done that there will surely be some lingering scars. Some of these dogs ate their own puppies, for God's sake. But having no real other options, we see that Chili agrees to work with her sister, who has already come up with a possible serum. We also get a flashback of when Brandy first came across the berries and her first feral dog. And I have to admit, the calmness that they convey at first sight is the creepiest thing about them. Now, Brandy wasn't taking any chances out in the woods alone, so when she saw this weird-looking dog, she immediately took a shot at it and hit them right in the stomach. But this is when she makes another terrifying discovery. Apparently, when dogs eat the berries, their pain nerves go numb, which just means that they feel no pain. So just like with regular zombies, the best way to probably deal with them is likely to just shoot them in the head, but I suppose that the heart would also work if you have good aim. And then after that, we see Brandy runs off with the dog in the background, seemingly completely unaffected by the gunshot. But more importantly, we learn that Brandy calls the berries her product, which means that these berries are man-made, or, well, dog-made, and have some very dangerous side effects. Now, after seeing what the berries did to that dog, Brandy started to run experiments to see what was actually causing the animals to go feral. And what she found was that there's a chemical inside of the berries that make creatures go into madness, but it also releases a type of gas that makes dogs hallucinate. But for some reason, it doesn't affect the children. It seems like the children are still too young and innocent, or as it's described in the comics, they still have a light behind their eyes, so they're able to resist the effect of the hallucinations. So if I understand it, when the adults see the infected dogs looking large and disfigured, this could be because of the gas, whereas the children always see the affected dogs as normal, which is why in the beginning of the comic, Bluey didn't see anything wrong with her Uncle Rad. while Chili, on the other hand, was freaking out. And this is
I'll go on
actually
the
super
next
dangerous for the
episode.
children because they are going to have a hard time trying to tell who they can trust and who is actually feral. Luckily, it seems like Brandy was able to alter the berries, and now she just needs her sister to help her cure the sick dogs. And it's a good thing that Chili agrees, because right after that, we see a bunch of military dogs
finally
ready to put her down because they thought that she was going to shoot Brandy. But now that the sisters are on the same team again, the military can start doing something that they call Code Green. After that, we move over to this scene where Bluey's crew is able to meet up with the other survivors, and there's this joyous reunion until someone asks where Snickers is, causing Bluey to have flashbacks to his last moments and then walking away so she can be alone. But luckily, her mother is there to help her through this moment, sitting and speaking with her and even sharing her own grief of her mother and, of course, Bandit. She also delivers a heartbreaking line when she says, "It's hard losing someone but
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, number
so many good memories." And honestly, I wasn't expecting such a heartfelt message from a horror game. Now, we see the scene end with Bluey picking up this flower and letting it float away in the wind as kind of a tribute to her lost friend, Snickers. After that, we see that Uncle Stripe is making a full recovery, and that did make me happy because he was holding it down in this AU. But the happy moment is pretty short-lived because Brandy comes and tells Chili that she's ready for her. This causes Chili to give Trixie a hug and tell her that she's leaving her daughters in her hands. But after some pleading from Bluey, she is convinced to allow the girls to come with her to retrieve their father, which I think is a terrible idea, but maybe everything will work out. Next, we see this little terrier confirm that they are going to go test this new serum on Bandit, and if it works on him, they'll use it to try and cure all the other dogs as well. This chapter ends with Brandy telling Chili that if for whatever reason the serum doesn't work, they will have to take Bandit out. And judging by how vicious he looks here, I don't doubt it. And before the video cuts out, we also hear this. And I like how the third chapter begins the same way that the second chapter ends.
There's helpful? No.
Now at this point, Chili and Brandy have made it back to the house where Bandit is, and they have a gun that is able to shoot the serum into him. But they also have a real gun just in case things go south. And when they first enter the house, they can't see any signs of him. And even as they look around, it is starting to be clear that he may have jumped out of a window and is just out running around. But just when they're ready to get up, Chili catches a reflection in a mirror, and she sees that Bandit is right behind her sister, ready to attack. But Chili quickly slams into her sister and knocks her out of the way. But in the process, she breaks both of their masks, meaning that they are now susceptible to the gas, which may be why Bandit looks so scary here. We also see that Brandy loses her serum gun in the fall, and knowing that this may be the only chance that she has to save her husband, Chili fights him, acting as a distraction while her sister finds the serum.
Oh. Damn. The heart show. Oh. Smash it. Ooh. How did you get blood?
And while it looks like Chili knocked Bandit out, he was actually just waiting for her to drop her guard so that he could get her with a sneak attack. And we see that Bandit is able to throw Chili into another room and momentarily knocks her out, making it a 1v1 fight between him and Brandy. But after a little bit, we do see that Chili wakes up and shoots her way out of this new room.
Yeah, I remember.
But while this was happening, Brandy was running for her life and is eventually cornered by Bandit.
I forgot that was Kevin. I learned that. Yeah.
But before he can attack her,
actually
we get
use
this
that
scene here.
Go down and hide behind Penguin. What you do? Yes. Don't please! Don't please! What was that? I don't say fuck you, not years. Okay, this very friendly channel. Ooh, brother, ooh, what's that? It's another game. Hey, mommy, what the say? What's that, man? The hell's that? What? Ooh.
Now, at the end of that cutscene, it seems like Bandit was able to recognize who Brandy was for a moment. But before we move on to how Chili came in clutch and saved her sister, let me show you what the versions of Bluey and Chili were saying in Bandit's mind.
Accept them as your memories fade away, and the orphan versions consume you, bit by bit.
Say, mommy,
As the face has faded from
me.
slowly making you feel nothing at all. The agony is slowly consuming you, always so near.
Now, back in the comic, we see that Chili is able to distract Bandit again, but is promptly knocked down. But this was all a part of the plan, because Chili bought Brandy just enough time to find the serum gun and fire it into Bandit. And then we see this scene where it looks like Bandit is literally throwing up blood, but it's likely just all the rage leaving his body. We also see this manifestation of his rage pop up, and it starts to reveal what we expected all along. This rage virus basically causes dogs to go feral outwardly, but inside they are still their regular selves. So they are basically being forced to watch as they commit terrible acts to their own family and friends, and they are powerless to do anything about it. But after getting the serum shot into his body, we learn that Bandit is now in control again. But more importantly, we learn that the rage was Bandit all along. Meaning that the berries don't create something new, but simply amplify the rage that is already within us. Showing that under the right, or I suppose the wrong circumstances, we all can become monsters and do horrendous acts. But finally, Bandit wakes up and he is back to normal and is able to go and actually hug his girls again. And I like that this comic kind of came full circle, because it started with Chili having to run away with her girls because Bandit was trying to hug them, right? Which is actually him trying to kill them. And now it kind of ends with him actually being able to hug his family again. And I also like that now that he has the serum inside of him, the world is kind of back into color, kind of showing that this antidote has brought hope and light back into this world. We also get a little montage of all the other infected people coming back to their families, and they're all cured and in relatively good condition. And we also get this little scene after the credit that shows the future of this aid. We see Bluey walking with her child, and they come across those red berries. And Bluey has to yell at him not to touch them, explaining that they are very dangerous. And for people wondering why they didn't just destroy the berries, it will likely be impossible or very hard to destroy them all, just by the nature of how berries grow and how easily they are to spread around. Anybody that lives around a blackberry thicket knows this for sure. But also just think about how many poisonous berries are just in the U.S. alone, even right now in 2025. It's probably easier just to educate the population to not deal with them than to try to burn them all away. But with that being said, this comic was very well done, and I like that they didn't go with the standard type of infection. This idea felt fresh, and it had me on the edge of my seat reading it. Make sure to recommend more in the comments, and I'll be sure to go ahead and get to them as soon as I can. Thank you for watching. As always, check out this video next, and we'll see you next time. Peace.
Wait a minute. I am the Minions Lake. I got the N. But I guess I need to get rid of that. I am the lake. Lake is lake. You see that? You see that? Oh no. Oh no. My skibidi died. Oh bro, what the fuck? Please don't go to me! Ah. Okay. Peanut butter jelly, 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 peanut butter jelly. I'm tired. 2 minutes. Wait a minute. Wait, let me see. Like, at least you can see my body, bro. You can see me. You can see me. Oh, you can see me now. I think see me. Yeah, I think. Wait a minute. Oh, wait. Oh, I saw someone else. I think, wait, is he floating? I think you see. Wait a minute. Dang, little girl. Dang. Really? Okay. Well, that's stupid. Okay. Okay. What's that technique for? Is there a way to get up there though? Under. Don't jump. Shit. Bro, I didn't see me. Are you on the lake? Really the lake. Fat lake. Oh! My car. Okay, now you're stuck. Oh no, oh. Then I'm stuck. Hi. Catch me if you can. Bro, what if me is silent? Oh yeah, this is the end video. Now we're going to be watching and making video. So bye.